Here's my preview of the Baylor versus Texas women's basketball games. Not just game, but games. Because you're going to play them twice and within 48 hours. I just thought might as well do both games all at once. Because it doesn't make... It's one day in between. It doesn't make sense to play the same opponent twice. So, some players to keep an eye on. Aaliyah Mataru is a 5'7" guard. That's a junior. 14.7 points per game. 14.9 points per game, 47 for 119 on threes, 35 for 52 on free throws, 3.5 rebounds per game, 2.3 turnovers per game, 1.6 steals per game, 2.8 fouls per game. Joanne Allen Taylor is a 5'8" guard. It's a senior, 10.5 points per game, 14 for 56 on threes, 31 for 43 on free throws, 2.8 rebounds per game, 1.9 fouls per game, 1.8 assists per game, 1.7 turnovers per game, 1.4 steals per game. Granted, I don't know about COVID on both sides here, because I know Texas hasn't played since Saturday. So the first matchup with Baylor would be their first game since then, in 6 days. Another player to keep an eye on is Rory Harmon. Is a 5'6" guard. That's a freshman, 10.4 points per game, 11 for 34 on three-pointers, 52 for 71 on free throws, 4.9 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists per game, 2.4 turnovers per game, 2.5 steals per game, 2.6 fouls per game. Audrey Warren is a 5'9" guard. That's a slash forward. That's a senior, 8.9 points per game, 8 for 19 on threes. So she doesn't shoot many threes, if any. 41 for 53 on free throws, 4.2 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 2.4 turnovers per game, 1.6 steals, and 2.5 fouls per game. Deanna Gaston is a 6'2" forward. That's a freshman. That's 8.6 points per game, 1 for 2 on threes, 23 for 40 on free throws, 12.3 rebounds per game, 1.2 turnovers per game, 1.1 blocks per game, 1.2 steals per game. Lauren Ebo is a 6'4" center slash forward. That's a senior, 7.3 points per game, 30 for 50 on free throws, 6.9 rebounds per game, 1.1 turnovers per game, 0.9 blocks per game. Aaliyah Moore is a 6'1" forward. That's a freshman, 6.3 points per game, 0 for 3 on threes, 23 for 34 on free throws, 3.8 rebounds per game, 1.6 turnovers per game. Kendall Hunter is a 5'7" guard. That's a freshman, 4.5 rebounds, points per game, 13 for 30 on threes, 3 for 7 on free throws, 0.7 turnovers per game, 0.6 steals per game. A player that did not play against Oklahoma is Kobe King Hawaii. Is a 5'11" guard slash forward. That's a sophomore, 4 points per game, 4 for 11 on threes, no free throws attempted, 8.8 steals per game. Letitia Lattimore is a 6'4" forward. As a freshman, 3.9 points per game, 0 for 4 on threes, 10 for 24 on free throws, 3 rebounds per game, 0.9 turnovers per game, 0.7 blocks per game. Shay Hall is a 6' guard. That's a sophomore, 3.3 points per game, 6 for 17 on threes, 9 for 16 on free throws, 0.6 fouls per game, 0.8 turnovers per game. I'm not going to mention the last two players. You could look at that in the description below, in the link. I tell you right now that Texas does rely on points on turnovers a lot, because Texas last time against Oklahoma had 24, and that's in spite of a loss. Out of those 63 points they had, 24 points on turnovers. So really, offensively, you got to take care of the ball so you can limit that. And take care of the ball in general, because Oklahoma turned the ball over 27 times, and they still won. So that's saying something. But you got to win the rebounding battle. It was even on the rebounding battle against Oklahoma for them last game. You got to limit their three-point shooters. Offensively, you got to take good shots. You got to have Nolissa step up in this game, especially in a rivalry. In both of these games, and all your front court as well. And Queen Ebo and Caitlin Bickle. They might even put Caitlin Bickle as a 3. A small forward position. You know what I'm saying. And the guards definitely need to step up in this game in terms of not just take care of the ball, but you got to score the ball as well. And another key is not to get in foul trouble against Texas. I mean, that's number one. That's obvious. Now, defensively, you got to limit their shooters as much as you can. Make them struggle. I mean, and don't let them get to the free throw line like they did against Oklahoma did. They had 29 free throws last game. Texas did, but only made 22. But they did lose to Oklahoma by 2. But they did have a technical foul on on Texas, which probably was the difference maker. Besides fast break points. So really, limit the fast break points as much as you can. Limit the points in the paint as much as you can. Win the rebounding battle. Be prepared for physicality regardless. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. And whatever happens in that first game, you got to make adjustments for the second game, obviously. On the positives and the negatives. You got to see where you are at. Of course, you need to address the negatives to be better for the next following game against Texas here. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. And let's get me up to 400 subscribers or more by the end of this year.